Another name for the Bible is the Testament. The Testament. Testament means covenant. Covenant. Sometimes you hear someone say in the Old Testament. It also means in the Old Covenant or in the New Testament. The person is saying in the New Covenant. So the Bible is also called Testament or Covenant. By the word Testament, God himself designated his relationship, the relationship that existed between himself and the people. That is what covenant or testament stands for. The Old Testament was given at Mount Sinai, and it was referring to the Jewish race. To the Jewish race. While the New Testament was made at the upper room, and that concerns the believers. The New Testament, the New Covenant, the New Testament or the New Covenant is made at the upper room together with Jesus and his disciples. That refers to the believers. The Old Testament or the Old Covenant was made at Mount Sinai when Moses went to collect the 10 Commandments. That refers to the Jewish race. Remember, I talked about the dispensations of the Bible, the dispensations of the Bible. So when you read through the dispensational Bible, you will be able to understand some of the things that concern the Jewish race and those that concern both the Jewish race and the believers, and the ones that concerns only the believers, so that you won't mix them. So the New Testament or the New Covenant was sealed with the blood of Jesus Christ. If you read the book of Hebrews chapter 9, verse 15, it talks about how the New Testament or the New Covenant was sealed with the blood of Jesus. In the Old Testament, Moses has to mediate between the people, the Jewish race, and God. But in the New Covenant or the New Testament, Jesus now mediates. Jesus Christ is the mediator of the New Testament, just like Moses was the mediator of the Old Testament for the Jewish race. So if you read the book of Hebrews chapter 9 verse 15, let's read and see what's written there. It said, and for this cause, he is the mediator of the New Testament, and by the means of death, for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of external inheritance. External inheritance. You also read the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 6 and verse 14. You also look at the book of Luke. Yes, you have to look at the book of Luke chapter 22 verse 20. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 25. And lastly, the book of Hebrews chapter 12 verse 24.